Welcome to my video on how to use the EDpuzzle website to create interactive video tasks for your students. Okay, so here you can see I'm on the EDpuzzle homepage. If you just type in EDpuzzle, this is what comes up. If you're using the website for the first time and you're a teacher, you click this and it walks you through the sign up and login process, which is very straightforward and easy. Same if you're a student, you click on this button. I've already got an account, so I'm going to go up here to the login button. I say I'm a teacher and it brings up my information from memory there. Okay, so here we are in my account. Now to create a new video, I go up here to my content and it shows any videos I've already created, like this practice trigonometry one. But to create a new one, I'm going to go create up in the corner here and new video. Now what this brings me is you can see here on the left hand side there's a list of sources where I can get videos from, online sources where I might be able to find them. The one that I'm looking for, I know today, is YouTube, but you can see the first option here is EDpuzzle, so you can actually find existing interactive videos that other teachers have created if they've chosen to make those public. But I'm going to go to YouTube and find the video that I'm looking for. Now, the example I'm going to be looking at today is a scene from Shakespeare's Richard II that I might give to, say, a Year 11 English class if they were studying the text. And I know the scene I'm looking for, the clip that I'm looking for, is from the BBC's Hollow Crown series. It's Richard II, and it's a clip. So I'll put that in. It searches like a normal YouTube search would do, and there it is. This is the one I'm looking for, so I'm going to go use it. Okay. Now it brings me into the video clip editor, and this is where I can edit the videos that I am using. So the first step is to crop the video. You can see up the top here. If you want more information on how to do this or what the value is, say if you were doing this by yourself, you could click on this and it would show you a video showing you how and what you can use it for, but I'll talk you through it. So for instance, if I click play here, it loads the video and then it starts playing. But you can see my video here starts with this weird little introduction animation that I know is going to be no use for my students. It's not going to help them analyze the clip. So I just want it to start from the start of the actual clip that they're watching. So I drag this slider at the bottom here to, say, 14 seconds. And I drag this play icon back, we start from there. Okay, so you can see it goes pretty much straight into the video there. So I've gotten rid of the introduction. If I wanted to get rid of stuff at the end, I could do the same by bringing this slider here, and then I would only have this middle section. However, I know that I want really all of the end of this video because I watched it before. It should be noticed that with this tool, the only thing you can do is take from the beginning and the end. You can't, say, chop and change segments from the middle and bring them together. So it's really only worthwhile if you wanted to use one set clip from the middle. However, that would be very useful if, say, the video that I was using was the whole film of Richard II, but I only wanted my students to consider this particular one scene. So it's very useful for cropping down longer videos and really honing your students' attention on specific skills or portions of content that you want them to focus on. So now that I've cropped my video there, I can go up to the next step, which is creating an audio track. So what this does is that it creates a sort of voiceover over what's happening in the video. However, it's important to note that it actually does delete the audio of the video that you're recording, and as it says on the side over here, the audio has to cover the entire video. So this would be particularly useful if the video that you were using was primarily a visual tool and you wanted to provide your own direction to your students explaining what was going on. However, for this video for my students, I really want them to be able to hear what the characters are saying, and it doesn't do them much good to hear me just talking over the whole thing. However, if I did want to do that, I would go down here and click the record button, and you can see that what happens is it starts playing the video from where I cropped it, but with no sound, and instead it's recording what I'm saying right now as a voiceover track. So I could explain to my students, say, here you can see Richard and Henry Bolingbroke talking about the crown, but obviously for my students it's more useful if they can actually hear them talking. So then I pause it or stop it where I like, and you can see that blue portion there is what I've recorded over. If I wanted to keep going, say I paused it because I wanted to stop and think, I could press record here and it starts up again. There it goes, recording my voice and playing the video. I go stop, and we've got a second segment here. Now if I said, oh, I didn't really like what I said there, I can go remove last recording. It takes it back to that first portion there. Or I can go reset the whole recording and it gets rid of everything. So I'm going to leave it with nothing because that's no good for me for this task. And I'm going to continue on to the next step, which is audio notes up the top. Now this will be useful because what this does is it records my voice, but instead of playing over the film, it pauses the film and just plays the audio of my voice. So what I'm going to use this for here is to record an introduction to the video to give my students some context as to what they're watching before the video just starts playing. So to do that, I go down here. I can use this slider to place my audio clip wherever I want in the video. I can have more than one if I want. That's very easy. But here I'm going to record one right at the start. And to start it off, I just click the microphone here. This scene from Richard II comes from Act 4, Scene 1, when Richard has arrived at court to give up his crown and his title to the usurper Henry Bolingbroke. So there we go, I've got that recorded note here, and I've got the same options from before if I wanted to remove the last one or get rid of all of them. But I'm going to move on to the next step now that I'm happy with that. If I wanted to put another one in, I just drag that along and insert another one the same way, but I'm happy with that. So finally, we're going to go to quizzes. Before you move on, it needs to upload the audio track that you recorded. So if you recorded more, this is going to take a little bit longer, but it doesn't take very long, really, just a minute or so to upload that into your video and save it as it's progressing. But the next step quizzes that we're going to move on to when this is done is, I think, the most exciting feature of EDpuzzle, where you can really make the experience of watching the video interactive for your students. So it works the same way. Down the bottom you've got this little slider, and you can choose wherever you want in your video to insert a question. So here I know, let's have a look where I wanted to insert this question. Here we go, Richard's talking, let's see what he's saying.
Of care by old care done, your care is gain of care by...
Okay, so he's talking about care. I want to bring it back here to when he stopped speaking, and I'm going to ask a question. The question I want to ask here, I can select the options from up the top. So I want to ask this one, which is a multiple choice question. So you can see here I type in the question that I want to ask my students. So in this instance, I'm going to ask them, is this speech by Richard in iambic pentameter? And the correct answer is yes, it is. And the incorrect answer is no, it's not. This could also be phrased as true or false if you wanted it to, but if you wanted it to be a traditional multiple choice question with lots of options, you can add in extra answers or options down the bottom here. So that's what I want that to look like. If, however, I was creating, say, a maths video, I also have these handy features up the top here. So I can add in superscript and subscript letters, or actual formulaic options here. So you can click on buttons to add special characters here. You can see all that. This isn't a maths one though, so I'm not going to do that. But it's really useful to have that option if you are a maths teacher and you're wanting to pose maths questions to your students as they watch the video. You also have the option up here to add an image to your question if you wanted to add a supporting image. So you can either upload one from your computer or use one from a URL where you just copy the URL in there, give your picture a title, and set dimensions down here. It's all very easy. For this one though, I don't think my students really need an image. So that question is ready to go, and I just click save, and it saves it at that portion of the video. I also, however, want to ask my students another question at the end of the video. So we'll make it there, and click on that to add a new one. And for this one, I'm going to stick with this option here, which is to add an open-ended question or a short answer or extended response question. So here what I want to ask is, do you think this scene changes the audience's opinion of Richard, and how? Okay, and again I have the same options for how I can edit that text. So here what I might choose is actually, I think, to answer this question, my students could really use a link, which is the copy of the actual script of Richard II, but I have a digital copy here in a website. So I copy that link, go back to my puzzle here, copy the URL, and then I want to call it Richard II play text. I go OK, and you can see that appears in my question box there as a link. So students can click that and they'll be taken there. So I'm happy with that question, ready to go. I'm going to save it. And you can see that's how it would appear for students as they're watching the video. They get the question and they can click the link there, they type their answer there. Okay, but there's one more thing I can do, and I want to do it, let's say, here in the video. I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to add it here. And what this is actually not a question, it's adding a comment in. So students don't have an answer, but the text appears here on the side of the video, either telling them to do something or providing them with additional information. So here what I'm going to tell them is, take notes on the following aspects of kinship that Richard lists. There we go. So save that, and that will come up as a little speech bubble there reminding students that they need to take notes on this next bit. Okay, so if we pause that, we can take it back and see how these questions actually appear
Gain of
in
care,
context.
I knew care one. The cares I give, I have, though given a...
So you can actually see there, when students get up to a question, the video pauses, the question appears here on the right-hand side, and they can't keep going until they are able to answer the question, or they click continue. And you as a teacher can set that yourself, whether they're able to progress without answering the question or not. Okay, so now I'm really happy with my questions, and I'm really happy with my video overall. So to finish it off, I just go up the top and click finish. Now what I do is I have the options to assign it to a class. So I know that this is for my Year 11 English class here. If I wanted to create a new class, I would just go add class here, type in the class name. But I'm pretty happy with it. And here's where I want to say I want to prevent my students from skipping forward in the video or skipping questions, so I've got that ticked. And I also want to set a due date by which they have to have it done by. So today's Wednesday, the video opens on Wednesday, but I want it due by Sunday night, say. So I can click on Sunday, I can change the time I want it due if I want to, but I'm happy with midnight. So let's keep going with that. So then I go send. And what that does is it sends it out to anyone who's logged into that class. Currently, no one is, but if I wanted to invite students to view this video or to join this class, I click on this button here. And what this gives me is a code on the left-hand side here, so that if students have already created accounts on EDpuzzle, say if you use EDpuzzle a lot in your classes, it might be useful to have a whole account. They type in this code in their homepage and it takes them to this video or to this class group. Here, however, on the right-hand side, there's just a straight link to the class if they don't have their own accounts and they can use it there. So that's how you invite students. Now, I just briefly want to walk you through the data that EDpuzzle gives you once students have engaged with this video. So I'm just going to show some sample data here because obviously I have not given the video that I just created to any students yet, but this gives you an idea of the visual presentation of data that EDpuzzle gives you. So here you can see the first little screen capture here is showing that EDpuzzle actually gives you a way of tracking student progress as they're watching the video. So if you've assigned this video to watch and for students to answer their questions in class, you can sit there with your device and track how they're progressing, which gives you an idea of how long you need to give them for the activity, but also which students are maybe falling behind or need extra support there. Then here you go down, and this gives you data on once everyone's watched the video, you can see, okay, yep, who's actually watched it, which students have completed the task, what grade they got on the questions, when they submitted the task as well. And then up the top here, you're given a breakdown as to which questions were particularly difficult or students did particularly well in as well, which is really useful if you want to target specific skills. Here's another really nifty feature that I like as well, where you can actually see which portions of the video students individually have had to watch multiple times before answering a question. So that gives you an idea of which questions might be particularly challenging for students or which parts of the video they might need to access more. And so this is a really great way of figuring out what skills you need to target your teaching at for specific students, and I really love that feature. So there's that in close-up as well, how that appears. Finally, it's worth acknowledging that short answer questions or open-ended questions that you give to students in your video will need to be graded individually by you, unlike multiple choice questions where you've already selected a right answer, so EDpuzzle is able to grade them for you. So for short answer questions, you can see here that once students have done the task, you can enter this page where it gives you the question that you've asked and then a list of all the student responses, and you can go through and select whether they're right or wrong.